Yoshi and fellow students. My name is Luca Tomlinson, and alongside Kyla, Kate, and GNA, we would like to present you our scientific report, Searching for Aquatic Life. So without further ado, let me get into an overview of this, which was all about aquatic ecosystems. Now, BIJUS defines an aquatic ecosystem to be a group of interacting organisms which are dependent on one another and their water environment for nutrients and shelter. And specifically, in this experiment, we wanted to look at those in urban and suburban areas as they are the most accessible to the majority of the public and are the hardest hit by factors such as pollution, eutrophication, and siltation. And here are three examples showing the locations we used during this experiment. The first one being a garden pond in Johannesburg. We also looked at the Rudaplat Dam just outside of Pretoria, and also a stream through the Baloo Bird Sanctuary in Johannesburg. Why exactly did we conduct this report? Well, we had two main aims. The first one was to investigate whether the average person is able to find and observe aquatic organisms, especially macroinvertebrates, using basic household equipment. And here's an example of that basic household equipment we used to survey the aquatic ecosystem. And the second aim was to determine whether the overall health of a freshwater ecosystem can be determined by using aquatic organisms as indicators. And here is an example of one of the organisms photographed during the experiment, this being a damselfly larvae. And in the end, we did indeed prove both of these hypotheses to be true.
Moving on to the equipment that was used in the experiment. We start with a large white ceramic bowl, a 750 milliliter plastic pump bottle, a small mesh net, a phone as a timer, a phone as a camera, and a pen and paper. The methodology of this experiment was a pond, stream, or dam was chosen to conduct the experiment. The 750 milliliter plastic pump bottle was filled with water from the pond. The small mesh net was used to collect substrate from the bottom of the pond. The mesh net was placed over the water in the pump bottle was used to rinse the substrate off the net and into the ceramic dish. The phone was used to set a 10-minute timer. The pen and paper was used to tally how many different organisms were spotted. The phone camera was used to take pictures of the observed organisms, and the experiment was repeated in different spots to improve reliability.
The results of our experiment showed that each person in our group managed to find aquatic life with little to no experience or special equipment. And 3 of the 4 members of our group managed to identify organisms down to a genus using field books and online guides. Here are some examples of the type of animal that were discovered, mostly insect and insect larvae, and here was the genus identification. The 2 ways in which organisms were identified were using online guides, online identification guides, like here where a damselfly was identified using this online resource, Mini SAS Identification Guide. And the other way was with books. This pouch snail was identified using the Aquatic Invertebrates of South Africa, a field guide. The discussion section. An ecological indicator is a measure of parts of the ecosystem that provide quantitative information on the health of a habitat. All animals can serve as an ecological indicator of ecosystem health, but for aquatic environments, amphibians and aquatic invertebrates tend to be particularly good indicators as they are very sensitive to pollution and changes in the environment, which means they can be used to determine the health of an aquatic ecosystem.
What did we conclude from this experiment? Life in different aquatic environments contributes to the understanding of the biodiversity of living organisms and to assess future quality management of the water sources effectively. The type of aquatic life depends on various environmental factors. The investigation whether an average person is able to find and observe aquatic organisms using basic household equipment was successful, as shown by results. Species that were found were used as an ecological indicators that led to the conclusion the overall health of a freshwater ecosystem within an urban-suburban environment was healthy. A recommendation would be to carry the experiment early in the morning or late in the evenings, thus possibly being able to observe more activity. Environmental factors affecting the type of aquatic life to be found. Pollution, eutrophication, siltation, location of the organism's food sources, emergence patterns driven by the climate. Kindly see our references and thank you for listening.